Hey guys, happy Monday. Thanks for stopping by for another video here at All I See is W. In today's video, I'll be covering technical analysis of Bitcoin as well as CleanSpark CLSK Bitcoin mining stock. Most of you are wondering, is now a good time to buy or sell Bitcoin or even CleanSpark? We'll cover the latest updates using technical analysis as well as me sharing the latest updates, and I would encourage you to stay towards the end so that you could see what my price predictions are, as well as playing a video clip to detail more about Bitcoin. Now, if you're new to this channel, first off, I would really appreciate the like and subscribe for more related content. Let's get started, guys. We're looking at technical analysis of Bitcoin. Now, the good thing is, even though we saw heavy retracement in, the month of January and February, March is a month where we're just seeing consolidation. Yes, we did see that Trump pump back in early March during Sunday, but during the market open on Monday, we saw that big dump. However, now we're just seeing, Bitcoin just hovering right now, consolidating. And I think that Bitcoin is really just, priming up for the next gap up. One of the reasons why I believe Bitcoin is primed to make a big time gap up is given the fact that for every halving event, we're bound to see Bitcoin just run up, and we haven't seen the relative strength of Bitcoin kick in. Current price at 83,000. I think we're at that healthy state, especially, just with the start of like March 11th, the last 7 days of trading, we've been just hovering here. And I think one of the key signals is come Wednesday, as soon as we hear any updates with what the Fed has to say, Jerome Powell, in terms of whether they're going to be aggressively, pulling the lever to reduce the federal funds rate, I think that could really cause a upward market sentiment, consumer confidence in the Wall Street as well as Bitcoin. So we may see, brighter sunny days coming, especially with that news on Wednesday, or we might see more heavy turbulence coming up with the news that's going to be coming out. But from a long-term perspective, I do think that we are in a good position here. Just looking at the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, for every halving event that we see every 4 years here, with last year, April being the last halving event, we tend to see Bitcoin have a big push up, where it goes through like a bubble, FOMO, intensify, and even selling, where the relative strength gets up to like 70, 80 RSI. We haven't seen that yet. We're still in that buy phase, accumulation phase. It's still cheap. We know long term Bitcoin's going to go into the $1 million. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, especially with the amount of Bitcoins available each day to mine, around 400 Bitcoins per day. There's not too much Bitcoin around for everyone to buy, whether it's MicroStrategy, BlackRock, countries buying, United States, even China. There's such a demand for Bitcoin right now, and we can't create more Bitcoin similar to just printing more money. And for those reasons, this is really going to just position, Bitcoin price to go up. But just looking at a key indicator as well, we're looking at the M2 global supply. Since January, we've seen an inverse where the M2 money supply has increased. We see the year over year growth here of 3.76% liquidity injection just from a global standpoint. And what does that mean? Bitcoin price, you see here a retracement that we've seen, just with the start of January here. But anytime when M2 supply leading indicator shows an upward trend, Bitcoin follows that trajectory. However, it goes on like a 8 to 12 week lag time. So we should expect Bitcoin any time now to start reversing that and start following that trajectory. So very good bullish sign with M2 global supply and how Bitcoin follows that trajectory. We've heard about, Jason Mandell. He's the legendary trader who predicted Bitcoin would hit 84,000 on March 14, 2025, since, a posting about a year ago. So he was spot on with that prediction with laser sharp focus. And now he's predicting that Bitcoin will top 444,000 in this cycle alone. So do you think Bitcoin would actually hit 444K this cycle. And what does that mean for like a Bitcoin miner like CleanSpark along with other miners? But let's take a look at this posting here that he announced, just with his overall assessment here that he was, forecasting 84,000 on the dot. He was money on, and this has just been one of the most important postings, in the crypto market, and he was spot on. So a lot of people are really, believing in this, in that he may very well have that good vision and foresight as to where Bitcoin is headed. We may not get to 444,000. We may get to 200,000. Who knows? We may get to 444,000, but big time bullish sentiment here. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out this year. I like this posting from Josh Mandell as well, just with this analogy. You do not plant a seed in the ground and then dig it up every day to see that it is growing. Bitcoin will grow. So just putting that into context, we have that tendency to check the stock price, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's, a stock like CleanSpark here. But one of the key things is that we can't just make money by buying and selling, from a day to day. Yes, there are certain day traders, investors that can make money that way, but the main winners would really just be the ones who just buy, accumulate, and just let it grow over the long-term course. We've seen that with Bitcoin historically. It's dominated gold as well. Similar to other, stock investments. Yes, of course, with CleanSpark, we've seen the ebbs and flows. In fact, CleanSpark was the leading workhorse last year in Q1. However, we haven't seen that yet, but I do think that seasonality will kick in. And we just have to follow this analogy here in that we can't just dig it up every day and see that it's growing. Yes, we're seeing some pain right now, but where there's pain, there's always going to be long-term gain as well, similar to, how Bitcoin is performing. So definitely a great analogy here in that, you got to have that patience in order to win. Let's take a look at this posting here. CleanSpark is going to melt faces, and you're listening to bears on CT mad about private jet and lack of buybacks. Matthew Schultz is mining pure US based Bitcoin at 34,000 costs, and heads up, the president is into that sort of thing. $30 CleanSpark at end of year, and you can do nothing about it. So big bullish conviction here. While there's volatility, on the downside, we may see volatility with quick bounces up as well. Let's take a look at just CleanSpark's fundamentals here. So, as of last month, February, their hash rate's ramping up quite significantly. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they're over 41 exahash now, but they do have that goal in the next 3 months to get, at 50 exahash. Bitcoin holdings over 11,000, so somewhere around where Tesla holds, and this is all from pure mining here. Their fleet efficiency is super impressive. I mean, I think towards next month's announcement, end of March, they may very well get down to like 16 joules of terahash, and they might be number one, number two in terms of fleet efficiency. What that means is your cost to mine is just going to be lower. I mean, you're not paying a lot for the energy costs. One of the leading industries here with 17 joules per terahash at the end of February. Their monthly production 624 as of February. That's big numbers here in terms of mining production here. I mean, when you think about it, there's 450 Bitcoins to mine per day. Think about this, on a monthly scale, they can rack in 624 Bitcoins mined monthly. And when you compare this, I mean, the only Bitcoin miner that's ahead of CleanSpark right now is Mara. But who knows, as they focus on scaling up their hash rate, they may very well get towards that hash rate that Mara has, and maybe one day they might even bypass Mara. And they also have, 950 megawatts under contract. So a very bullish sentiment from a fundamentals. They've actually proven themselves when it comes to earnings report. So I think just based on the technicals here, yes, we hear CleanSpark joining the small cap S&P 600 index, solid earnings report, as well as consistent mining production, as well as having a low cost to mine. All of this looks very positive from a fundamental standpoint. And because the Bitcoin miners have been just heavily shorted, we see this, this positive performance with CleanSpark not performing well in the recent months, but I don't think that it's going to stay that way for long. What goes down can pop up very quickly soon. We've seen this across the Bitcoin miner sector, and with Bitcoin, you can't survive. Bitcoin ecosystem cannot survive if the Bitcoin miners don't do what they're doing. So as a result, I do think even though we see volatility on the downside with CleanSpark so far in the year 2024, 2025, Q1, I think that we're going to see, the rest of the year be positive uptrend for the miners, just with the seasonality performance. I've covered that in many videos in that when the miners underperform one year, they tend to outperform. 2024 was a year where there was significant underperformance, similar for CleanSpark towards the later phase of the year. So because of that, I think that we're going to see outperformance, as we head into Q2 to Q4 of the year 2025. So what does this mean? Overall, I do think that CleanSpark, where the current price is, it was nice to see price action move up, especially being down 4% today. We saw, the bulls really pushing forward on the price action here, ending the market at 1.88%. I think key indicator here is we see CleanSpark oversold here. Definitely a great opportunity to buy, especially, at the $7 marker. But I do think that where we are, we could very well see CleanSpark get back up into that, mid 20 to $30 range sometime this year. It's going to practice patience, just like Josh Mandell's analogy. We can't dig up the seed every day to check on it. We just got to let it grow. All right. So I think that it's going to grow very fast. And one of the key signals here is the MACD. We're seeing the MACD crossing here, the 12 versus 26-day crossing. We're gonna start seeing that green zone pop up with the MACD bullish divergence, along with RSI kick in. So I do very well see, as we head into March, we may very well towards the end of the month get into that double digit. I think that, the bulls for Bitcoin strategy, we want to see that price be above like 90 to 100,000 for Bitcoin because of earnings report ending in Q1. Who knows? It may, extend to Q2, but I think that there's going to be some positive upward movement with CleanSpark, given the fact that it's been at a basement low, just with the whole year duration here. So definitely some upside here. CleanSpark surged 218% in 3 months, back in like, that 2023 time frame. And then what happened after this big downward bullish pennant flag that we saw before 2024, end of 2023? It surged 290%. So anytime when we see it drop down significantly basement low, what happens? You see this big bullish pennant flag, for a duration of a year. We're only going to see a green candlestick pop up here. So because it drops down so fast here, we can see it run up very fast, which is evidenced by the historical trends. So that's one key thing to look at. I think there's so much upside here. Yes, the bears are in favor right now, but that's only going to last for so long, and the shorts are going to have to cover their position. And with that, I want to play a video clip of Bitcoin.
Talking to Brian Armstrong last night ahead of this summit today, and he's one of the members who's been advising the Trump transition team since the campaign trail, and he made the point that he thinks a lot of countries are going to follow. I know of already Middle Eastern countries, Gulf states that have been looking into a Bitcoin buying strategy. There's also reportedly conversations within the Chinese government to look to follow suit if the government and the U.S. makes this move to roll out a purchase plan.
But there is no purchase plan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if you have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, China used to be one of the epicenters for Bitcoin mining. It's very easy for them. They have all of this hydropower, and so they already have all the facilities, and they banned it a couple of years ago, but it takes nothing to turn it back on. And then, I mean, similar to Iran evading sanctions by just mining Bitcoin, they already have it on hand.
So there you have it. There's FOMO that may potentially kick in. So let me know what your thoughts are with this video. Is Josh Mandell correct? What if Bitcoin runs up to 444,000? Where will the price be with CleanSpark? FOMO is real. I think that we may very well see Bitcoin start running up. The question is when this year. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you're new to this channel, I would really encourage, hitting the like, subscribing, and put what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.